know you said that he had terrible pains in his stomach.
Involuntarily, I clutched the arm of the settle for support.
Even if he is on board the Mongolia.
A man rather feels the presence of these fellows.
Welcome to Learning to Use Noise Reduction in Audacity. Before we dive into the depths of noise reduction, I want to cover why we should use the background noise validation option in Checker. Just because you listen to a recording on your laptop speakers or earbuds and hear no noise doesn't mean it's not there. Someone with headphones might pick up on it right away. Using Checker's background noise validation provides a standard method of measurement that will apply equally to everyone, regardless of how they actually listen to the recording. Now, it is possible for it to flag a noise problem when one does not exist. For example, if there is insufficient silence at the end of a recording. In these instances, one would need to listen using headphones and/or view the file in Audacity to validate Checker's results. The noise reduction effect in Audacity uses only 3 settings, but it is painfully easy to abuse them. So let's start off by seeing what the Audacity manual has to say about how they should be used. Noise reduction. Use the lowest value that reduces the noise to an acceptable level. Higher values than necessary may make the noise quieter, but will result in damage to the audio that remains. Sensitivity. Greater sensitivity means that more noise will be removed, possibly at the expense of removing some of the desired signal as well. And the biggest culprit of all, frequency smoothing. This modifies the signal you are intending to keep. There is a chance that smoothing will make the desired audio less clear. Throughout the rest of this video, I'll be using a file that contains 3 identical copies of audio taken from a 1-minute test that has excessive noise. Here is the raw unprocessed file in Audacity's linear view. A common sequence of steps for most people may go something like this. Highlight a piece of audio that contains the noise, open the noise reduction effect and get the noise profile. Go back and select the entire recording, open noise reduction again and apply the commonly used setting of 12, 6, and 6, and click OK. At this point, few will bother to listen to it. They will just see that there is still a fuzzy line. So they may back up and try a more aggressive setting of 20, 6, and 6. Well, there's still a tiny bit of fuzzy line, but it should be okay. Unfortunately, some will go even further and run another pass to make the line go completely flat, which unfortunately will also make the voice go completely flat. It's all wrong. Let's see how to go about it the right way. Here is the same file, but this time using logarithmic dB mode view instead of linear. Why? Because it's a more accurate representation of your recording. Also because all of Audacity's effects use decibels, not numbers based on a scale of 0 to 1. To use Audacity in dB view, simply right-click anywhere in the vertical scale on the left edge of the display and select dB. So, assuming we have already grabbed the noise profile, the next thing we need to do is figure out how much noise there is, so we know what we need to get rid of. Now, before we dive into the art of noise reduction, we need to get set up properly. If the center of your vertical scale is not -48, we need to set it there. Do that by selecting Edit, Preferences, and Interface from the list on the left. In meter dB range, select -48 dB from the drop-down box. This will do 2 things. It will set the center point of your vertical scale to -48. And second, it will set the lower visible limit on your input and output meters to -48. This is a good setting because if you can keep your noise or room tone below the -48 level when recording, you will have no problems with Checker and your noise floor will be very low. Now back to noise reduction. Once again, the center of the vertical scale is at -48 dB. the noise is roughly peaking at around minus 36 dB. This means that we need to get rid of 12 dB of noise. Okay, onto the dreaded noise reduction effect. Start your settings with noise reduction dB equal to the number you came up with previously, in this case 12. Sensitivity at 3 and frequency smoothing at 0. Basically, the rule is don't touch frequency smoothing ever again. Putting anything in this setting is the quickest way to degrade a recording. Here, the leftmost recording is untouched as a reference. The center one has noise reduction applied at 12, 3, and 0. The one on the right used 20, 6, and 6. Except for the missing noise, they look pretty much the same. So, let's give it a listen. I advise using headphones for this as your laptop speakers won't reveal the differences.
People were pleased to find that pages for Fable fans at Librivox. People were pleased to find that pages for Fable fans at Librivox. People were pleased to find that pages for Fable fans at Librivox.
If you're still not convinced, I'm going to apply the same settings again, but this time, instead of selecting Reduce, I'm going to select Residue. This is going to have the exact opposite effect as before. This time we're going to see what Audacity is removing from the audio instead of what's left. With frequency smoothing set at 6, there is a considerable amount of voice being removed. This results in a flat, tinny sound that can have an effect on intelligibility. This is why you always leave frequency smoothing set to 0. Now, you can preview the effect with the residue button on. You should hear mostly noise and not much voice. If you hear a lot of voice, you can adjust the sensitivity until the voice is at its lowest volume. To summarize, first figure out how much noise you need to remove. For your initial settings in noise reduction, use that number with 3 and 0 for the other two settings. Listen to a preview with residue turned on instead of reduce, and adjust sensitivity until you hear the noise and only a little bit of voice. Leave frequency smoothing set at 0, switch back to reduce, and apply the effect. I always say that the best way to use noise reduction is to leave it alone. A decent microphone and quiet recording environment will go a long way toward that goal. I hope I've been able to provide some useful information to make your post-production effort more productive. Thank you for watching.